on who cares about it enough to do something different. Welcome and congratulations on getting accepted to the I-Corps program. During this program, we'll walk you through the process of exploring what it would take to commercialize your technology for a group of potential customers. Now, we're going to cover a lot of different things in this program, but there are two things in particular I want to discuss with you: what it means for you to commercialize your technology and the entrepreneurial journey. So let's level set on what it means to commercialize your tech. When we talk about commercializing your tech, we mean understanding what it will take for you to consistently create and deliver value to a specific group of people in a profitable way. There are numerous variables that need to be considered with how one can create a full set of products and services that are delivered to a specific customer group. But the starting block of all these efforts will be to understand the customer's perspective first before creating the product. As you go through the different modules and class sessions in this program, we'll be keeping an eye out on how well you can speak to that. Another major part of this program is the entrepreneurial journey. Whether you are the entrepreneurial lead, technical lead, or industry mentor, you all have a critical part to play on this journey and what it means to deliver to the market. This journey is less about validating your product. In fact, it's not about that at all. Have you ever asked yourself, what is the difference between a company and a startup? Startups are just smaller companies, right? Or is it that startups are pre-revenue and companies have actually made money? Maybe I'm in a startup if I'm just still working with a prototype versus the final version of my product. Just to be safe. Is it all of the above? Don't worry. There are a lot of different narratives around what differentiates a startup from a company. Here's how we like to think about it in the I-Corps program. Startups search while companies execute. What do I mean by that? When you are a startup, your main objective is to learn. You are searching for the best way to consistently deliver value to a specific group of people that's large enough so you can be profitable. You may have a pretty good understanding of the technology gaps within a particular industry sector. You may not be as clear on who cares about it enough to do something different. Or let's say you do know who would care about the technology gap in the market you are trying to fill. Can you, with confidence, articulate why they selected their current products and services and what would be required for them to switch to a new product today? What about the infrastructure you will need to deliver your solution and the costs that are associated with doing so? Startups tend to have good assumptions about their technology, but there's so much more that goes into the commercialization process that needs to be defined. Companies, on the other hand, are in execution mode. Their main goal is to drive revenue and increase profit margin. This means they have a good understanding of who their customers are and the problem they are solving for them. They have also demonstrated that they can consistently create and deliver value to the market. Let's look at an example, Amazon. You may know Amazon as an online retailer that sells everything today, but it didn't start out that way. When Amazon started out in 1994, they knew there were about 20 categories they wanted to sell in, but they didn't know quite how it would work. So they started out in one category that allowed them to focus on a specific customer, hone in on a specific value they could deliver, and understand the operational and financial infrastructure needed to deliver that value. They found an area in the market that was open to a new solution or disruption. Once they were able to execute consistently on delivering that value, They were able to repeat that business model across multiple categories, growing them into the largest e-commerce company they are. The story of Amazon and other companies are less about starting in one area and expanding to others. It's more about taking the time to understand how to consistently deliver value and then scaling their ability to do so over time. This allowed them to not only increase their customer base, but to sell more to the customers they already have. The evolution of becoming a company from a startup takes time and a lot of understanding. So it's important to know your role. At this stage, you're here to search for a model that doesn't just get you money now, but allows you to generate revenue in a way that's sustainable over time in the most effective way possible. If you're watching me right now, you must have a technology solution that you're pretty excited about selling to someone. You may have even published papers about your research or obtained a patent. Does that make you an entrepreneur? What exactly does it mean when you say, I am a super smart person and I am an entrepreneur? Let me take this time to clear up a few misconceptions when it comes to three types of individuals that tend to go on the entrepreneurial journey. That is the inventor, the innovator, and the entrepreneur. To do that, let me introduce you to my three friends. Meet Jira. She's an inventor. Jira has always been fascinated with all the different ways and use cases for removing waste from fresh water. Through her research, she has created a novel way to use a portable machine that removes dangerous particles from fresh water. Her machine also collects data on the chemistry of the waste that's found in the water and tells her where else that chemistry may exist or be used around the world. Now, let's meet my friend, Jamie. Jamie is an innovator. She cares about making work for marine biologists safe. Lately, they've been running into some pretty close calls due to booby traps on the ocean floor, and she has been looking at various technology approaches for solving this problem. She's been admiring Jira's work and feels that her technology can also be used or repurposed for identifying dangerous particles in ocean water. Finally, meet Duchesne. Duchesne is a serial entrepreneur. He loves to connect people with the products they need. There's nothing more invigorating to Duchesne than identifying an unmet need in the market and figuring out the best way to meet that need while making a lot of money. He's done this with several products in the defense and oceanic industries and is very skilled at getting new businesses from their first customer to their loyal customers. So, what's the difference between Jira, Jamie, and Duchesne? As an inventor, Jira is creating something new that answers a very specific problem. This problem is worth answering whether or not her solution goes to market. For Jamie, she's taking Jira's existing technology and finding new ways to apply it. Lastly, Duchesne is an entrepreneur and he's all about connecting solutions with gaps in the market. In this program, we're going to ask you to put on your entrepreneurial hat. We're going to teach you the methods for evaluating the customer problem and their needs and requirements. Based on their feedback, we'll help you understand whether your solution or invention could be the products they are looking for. As an entrepreneur, your role is to drive the process for evaluating a startup's potential. And there is a structured approach to discovering the market need and evaluating whether your proposed product or service would meet the customer's need. To do this, there are some key things you should focus on. The first thing is understanding the customer. There's a lot you will know about your technology, but your goal in this program is to understand the customer. The people you will speak with during this program are experts in what they are experiencing. Your job is to understand what's happening from their point of view. The second thing is learn the current industry ecosystem. As you look to enter any particular market, there's a status quo or current way that things work. You need to understand how that industry or market works and where you could fit in should you be able to provide a solution someone is willing to pay for. Just because you have a product someone wants doesn't mean they're willing to change the way that they work in order to get it. The third thing is searching for your target market. The quest to find that initial target market can be a tricky one that takes many dips and turns. Your job is not just to find that first customer or pilot use case. It's to find a logical customer group that has a similar sets of needs, a similar way of buying products or services, and word of mouth communication where they will promote your product or service. It's important not to conflate your target market with early evangelists or early adopters. In every market, there are those customers that will be the first people to try something new. You have to find a target market that will generate enough revenue to sustain your company or lead to a future market or exit. And finally, validate your business model. A business model is the way an organization creates, delivers, and captures value through a product or service for a particular customer base. Your ability to consistently deliver value to a specific group of people in a profitable manner depends not only on what your product does, but also how you are positioned in the marketplace. As an entrepreneur, you are constantly looking to understand the most effective way to deliver value, and your business model is the mechanism that drives that. We'll get into what business models are a little later in this module. As a startup, and especially an entrepreneur, it's easy to be consumed by product development. However, in this program, we're more concerned about customer development. What does this mean? We want you to first identify and validate a need that customers have. Then, build a product to satisfy a customer's need. Throughout this program, we will focus on the first point to help set us up for the rest of the startup journey. Now that we know what the goals around evaluating a startup are, let's talk about the tools needed to do so. As a reminder, we evaluate startups by understanding the customer, learning the industry ecosystem, validating your business model, and searching for a target customer. We use specific tools to guide us through the startup evaluation process. The first one is the business model canvas to capture key assumptions as they relate to how we intend to consistently deliver value to the market through our products and services. The second one is customer discovery. This is an iterative process by which we take a beginner's mindset to understand how our customer experiences a problem or solution. The third thing is testing assumptions. We will use the scientific method to challenge our assumptions about how we will deliver value to the market. We will get into these more in the next few videos. Remember, we define a business model as the way an organization creates, delivers, and captures value through a product or service for a particular customer base. The business model canvas is a one-page tool used to visually document our assumptions about our startup. This consists of 9 building blocks that's broken up into 3 areas. These areas answer the following questions. Desirability. Do customers want it? Feasibility. Can we deliver it? And viability. What is it worth? So let's talk about desirability. Desirability represents the right side of the canvas and helps us to understand the marketplace. First, we start with customer segments. Who is the person that's going to use your product? And who will buy your product? Are they the same person? What group of individuals are actively looking for a solution to the problem your product or service solves? This is not just a company or industry. Newsflash, this is a living human being that plays a role in adopting your technology. Next up, we have the value proposition, which sits in the middle of the business model canvas. The value proposition communicates the reasons why a customer would choose your solution over existing products in the market or doing nothing at all. Moving along to channels, how do you intend to get your product to market? What sales, distribution, and support methods do you need to consider? Let's go to customer relationships. In what ways do you need to engage with your customers so they can not only choose your product the first time, but keep coming back to you and buy more when they do? So let's take it over to the left side of the business model canvas, which tells us about feasibility. Can we deliver the value we say we have? First up, I'll talk about key activities. What are our core capabilities? And which of these capabilities do we need to keep in-house to keep our competitive advantage and ensure value delivery? Which ones could we outsource? Let's talk about key resources. What key assets will you need to acquire from a physical, human, financial, and intellectual property standpoint to position you to serve your target customers? And let's talk about those key partners. What capabilities should we outsource so we can focus on what we do best? Finally, we'll talk about viability, the bottom portion of the canvas. And this be done profitably. We'll take a look at revenue streams, the ways you will make money off your product or service. And then we'll take a look at the cost structure. How much will it take to consistently deliver value to your target customer? And which of those costs are fixed versus variable? Now, although we may evaluate these boxes individually, they are super related. This means as you learn new things around different parts of the business model canvas, it's natural for you to go back and assess how it impacts previous assumptions you have either made or evaluated. Furthermore, as you evaluate the different aspects of the business model, you will want to go back and ask yourself if the ways you will need to create, deliver, or capture value further define the customer segment you will pick as your target market. Listen, you will most likely have multiple assumptions as to who the customer will be. Remember that each customer group is likely to yield a separate business model. The goal for a startup is to pick a single customer group and prove out a repeatable business model. Customer discovery is an iterative process by which we get real insights from the market to help guide the decisions we make about our business model. We do this by scheduling interviews with different individuals we believe play a key part in either adopting technology in the industry we intend to serve, making the technology available to our target customers, or may even block a new technology from being adopted. After we collect data from the market, we go back and evaluate the assumptions we made to see if we are still moving in the right direction. The point of this process is not to validate our technology, but to learn more about how the current industry works so we can make decisions about what our product should be and how our startup should run outside of the interview. Don't worry, we'll give you more tips and tricks in the customer discovery module. Remember the scientific method? We'll use the same process to evaluate our startup. Let's simplify it just a bit. We'll follow a 4-step process to guide us through how we test our assumptions in this program. The first step is to guess. Here we'll make an assumption in one of the key areas of our business model in the form of hypotheses and capture it on the business model canvas. The second thing we'll do is test these assumptions by developing interview questions we'll ask during our customer discovery interviews. Third, we'll analyze the information we get back from our interviews and look for any new learnings, trends, and information that might impact other parts of our business model. And finally, we'll take a look at our interviews in aggregate and see if there are any adjustments that need to be made. Based on what you've learned, what new assumptions can you make? What new assumptions should you test? And what conclusions can be made? There'll be certain times throughout this process when you may need to pivot. This means that you found enough information in your interviews that signal you should take a complete change in direction. I want to take a moment for a little heart-to-heart, entrepreneur to entrepreneur. The customer discovery process is not intuitive. Whereas in the lab, it's important for you to be right, here, it's imperative that you remain curious. You are here to challenge your assumptions. If you come into this process thinking you already have all the answers, that could be the difference between just a really cool technology and having a product in the market. After all, isn't that what you're aiming to do? It'll be natural to think in your interviews, if only this person knew about my technology, then they would understand what I'm trying to do and want to buy. This program is not about your technology. Your customer may not be an expert about your technology, but they are an expert in their behaviors and how they make decisions. This is what you are here to understand. So, for the next several weeks, leave your bias at the door and come with a beginner's mindset. Be eager to hear and learn something different from what you already deem to be true. Have a thirst for those things, and chances are you'll land on a commercialization opportunity that'll blow your mind. Trust us, we've done this with thousands of teams over a decade. Let us guide you through this part of your entrepreneurial journey. We're here to teach you a process you can take with you after you leave this program. So if it's not this product, don't sweat it. You leave this program with what you believe is an answer about your technology and you didn't learn the process, you've missed the point. We'll keep you honest. All you have to do is come with a mind to be open and coachable.